So AFC qualifier saw Uzbekistan get a narrow win over North Korea. The UAE smack up Qatar 5-0. Welcome to the review of the November window of Asian qualifiers. Of course, we are joined by Jack from Dead Ball TV, your favorite Triple H and HBK duo of Asian football. We are D-Generation X people, and we're going to talk about each and every group. We're going to talk about the games that happened in November window. Obviously, we kind of gave our quick reactions to both match days, but now this is an overview. And heading into March, there's 4 games left. Which teams are going to buckle under pressure, or which teams are going to rise to the challenge and qualify to the World Cup? We're going to review each group, so get your thoughts in the comments down below, people. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and of course, subscribe to Deadball TV. Let's get them to 15K, and heck, people, we're on the road to 20K. When we get to 20K, there will be a giveaway on the 20K celebration stream. We did the same thing. We did the same thing for the 15K. My guy got a... Did he get a Galatasaray or Fenerbahce shirt? One of those two. So if you guys want those sort of giveaways, we got to get to 20K.
Am I eligible for that?
Of course you're eligible. You're just going to have to keep up with the community posts, because then the community posts are key, people. So that's why you got to have the notifications on for the channel. But let's get into the games. Obviously, we had a crazy window. I mean, I don't understand, and I'll say this every time with international football. I don't know how people can hate the international window. I mean, if you don't watch football, just say it. Gonna miss a crazy game like Iran, North Korea, or a crazy game like UAE, Qatar. They're just gonna throw you any sort of layup you want, and you're just gonna have to take it. And some fans of football they don't appreciate it. Maybe because there's no stars or the big names, but this is the great side of football for me. But let's break this down. You said that North Korea are the best bad team in the world. And that might be the case, because how on earth are you missing 3 penalties? Do you believe North Korea and Kyrgyzstan are done? They're not going to get top 4 finish in this group, because now they're both 4 points and 5 points adrift of Qatar.
100% it's done for both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see if one of those 2 teams could make it to the top 4? Would you like to see North Korea above Kyrgyzstan, for example? Because they're so entertaining.
Yeah, I would, for my own personal bias, because I think it's just madness every time these guys play. And I completely stand on them being the best bad team. Like, look at these results. Look at what happened. I mean, they played 2 10-man teams, lost both games 1-0, missed a penalty. These guys are must-watch footy. Not the greatest footy, but if you just want to be entertained, if you just want to put somebody on Asian ball, it's got to be North Korea. I have more respect for Kyrgyzstan than I did previously, but away from home, these guys are a travesty.
Yeah, 100%. They're a very good team at home in Bishkek, but I don't know what it is away from home. I feel they actually had a decent game against UAE, but they couldn't really conjure up any dangerous opportunities. At home against Iran, you get it to 2-2, and then you just give a free header to Osman. I mean, that's just really poor from Kyrgyzstan's perspective. Yeah. But North Korea could easily be on, let's say, 6 points.
Easily.
Is that fair? Easily. So that's just the craziness of their games. Is like they have all these opportunities against Iran. Fumble it. They have great opportunities against Uzbekistan. Fumble it. Miss the penalty. They are easily the most entertaining team right now in international football, because they're going to play horrific defensive football, but just throw bodies forward. It is insanity to watch them. Now let's get to the top 4. So Qatar, how would you describe, in one word, how would you describe that game against Uzbekistan?
Jekyll and Hyde. I know that's 3 words, but it was a masterclass in the first half and then a disaster class in the second half. That's how I would describe it. Like, dude, you can't tell me they didn't cut up Uzbekistan. I haven't seen Uzbekistan cut up like that maybe ever. I've never seen them just get demolished like that. They were ran off the pitch. And then, just like they did against UAE in the first leg, they stopped playing. They thought football was only 45 minutes. And Lucas Mendez eventually scores in the 102nd to get a 3-2 win. I'm not going to say Uzbekistan were robbed, but Qatar, man, just what is going on with these guys? It's insane.
It's insane. And then they go away to UAE and get smacked up 5-0. Now, I don't think I've ever seen a defending champion for a confederation, any confederation. You can talk about Argentina, Brazil, you can talk about AFCON, any of these. I've never seen a defending champion get embarrassed like this. 5-0. This is shocking. What do we say now with Qatar? They're not getting a top 2 finish? No? Okay. So,
No,
what
no
if
way.
they get into the fourth round? How much confidence do you have in them qualifying then to the World Cup? Let's say if there's a bar, one
Okay.
is that not qualified, 10 is they qualify. Where is that bar right now in them qualifying to the World Cup?
3.5.
What's keeping your faith still that they can do it? Is it because they have ballers like Akram Afif and Alamouz Ali, or is it just that maybe they got the talent and they just need to? Maybe this is a wake up call they needed.
Yeah, it's because they still have a top 5 player in Asia in Akram Afif. That's it. He is everything to not only this national team, but probably the country at large as well.
Defensively, this team are shockingly bad. Like Barsham might be the worst goalkeeper in AFC at the moment with the way he's performing. I can't think of
And
a
they might
worse
have the worst back line in AFC.
and worse back line as well. So look at that -7 goal difference through 6 games. Conceded so many just stupid goals. The 2 penalties they gave up. Lucas Mendes, lackadaisical on the ball. Barsham going out, not getting in front of the ball. I thought it was really poor from Qatar. I think they're done. They might get to the fourth round, but to qualify for the World Cup, I'm really struggling to see how they can just muster up a solid defensive line in a couple of months. For Qatar, either this is going to be a good thing or it's really now the beginning of a downfall for this national team. Do you think they can recover from this?
Yeah, dude, it'd be one thing if they lost 5-0 in a friendly, right, where they rotated half the squad and nobody cared. This was a World Cup qualifier against your arch rival, 5-0.
Hmm.
You let Fabio Lima score 4 goals against you. That is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever said out loud. I don't know what the psychological damage is when you get just ransacked like that. I don't know. Do you know who they play next? Do you know their next 2 games?
Qatar's next 2 games are North Korea at home, Kyrgyzstan away.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. They can't take 6 from that. That Bishkek away is going to be tough, but the Kyrgyzstan defense is terrible. I think Akram Afif is going to have a field day. It's just, can they stop Joel Kojo? That's going to be Kojo versus Almoz Ali that game. Who can put the ball in the back of the net more?
So it's imperative for them that they get 6 points because their last 2 games, Iran at home and Uzbekistan away.
Dude, it wouldn't be the craziest thing that's ever happened if they somehow got a result against Iran. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying the nature of the Iranian football team and the nature of Qatar and the nature of how Asian qualifying's gone so far. I wouldn't be surprised if they got like a 1-1 there, shock draw, and everybody's like, holy hell. Now they have to beat Uzbekistan to qualify. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, you might be shocked that the UAE are good because you're a Paulo Bento hater, but
Correct.
I stunned by what they're doing, if I'm going to be honest. +8 goal difference in 6 games. That's shocking to compare what we saw at the Asian Cup from this side. And I think you got to give credit to Paulo Bento. He said, Ali Makbout, you're a legend. Step aside. We're going to give a chance to the youngsters. And some of the youngsters are really stepping up, but Fabio Lima, 4 goals in 1 game. How often do we say that a player in AFC qualifiers that's not Japanese scores 4 goals in a game, let alone a UAE player?
It's an important distinction.
Yes.
Dude, I don't know. I think you're talking about like offensive players now, but we said it on the video on my channel, like their defense has become quite a force. I think they have the 3rd fewest goals conceded. I think Japan have less. Iraq, is that it?
I think that's it. Yeah, they've only conceded 4 goals.
Dude, they have the best defense in Group A with Iran and Uzbekistan. Mental.
That is actually
mental, dude.
What now is the chance that they could get to the top 2? Because they are now riding off a high, right? This is maybe like a rush off a drug or something like that. Is that, can this maintain for the last 4 games? Or is it going to fall off? What would you say is the buffer line for a team to get into the top 2? Like 18 points? Somewhere around there?
Yeah, I'm going to say 17 probably would be the lowest you can get.
Because their last 4 games are Iran away, North Korea away, Uzbekistan at home, and Kyrgyzstan away. Not the easiest.
That's pretty tough. I'm not going to lie. That's a really tough. I mean, they could be looking at 3 points. Beating North Korea, 3 L's.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm still not convinced that they are that good against anybody not named Qatar.
What if they get a draw away to Iran? Are you like, oh no, this team can actually do it then?
If they get a draw away to Iran, unbelievable result. Crazy result. Yeah.
Because I think
The Uzbeks are going to be sweating.
Oh, the Uzbeks will be sweating ferociously at that point. But I think for the UAE, what they've improved on so much is that defensively they've gotten solid, and now the counterattacks are much more clinical with Al Ghassami stepping up, Soayul, and obviously Fabio Lima. Now, Kao Kaendo, and maybe he could step up as well, but now they got a pretty formidable front line that looks every time dangerous on the counterattack. So if that can continue, why can't the UAE qualify for their second ever World Cup? Why not? Because there's always these surprise teams. UAE, you could say they're a tier 3, tier 2 team in Asia. One thing that they got going for them as well is Paulo Bento is very experienced in these qualifiers. He's more experienced than Katanec. He's more experienced than, I would say, Marquez from Qatar. Paulo Bento's done it and seen it before, so he knows how to prepare his teams, the mentality you need. And again, it's a question mark with Uzbekistan. Are they actually good, or are they not performing at the level they should be?
Oh, they're definitely underperforming. And I'm still going to say they're the luckiest team in qualifying, which is hilarious. I think we said that after round 4 or match day 4. And now again, 2 matches later, I'm kind of saying the same thing, mainly from the North Korea results again, because they should have gotten 2 draws. They should have 4 points less. They should be in 3rd behind UAE right now. Isn't that crazy?
That is actually crazy. So what do you think has been the problem for them? Do you think it's Katanec? Because obviously they got the players to play good football. We know Uzbeks really like that sort of possession style, very attacking minded. They're very good futsal national team. But when I watch this team, I feel like it's just Katanec. He's just not brave enough. I think we obviously talked about it in your video that I think they're just feeling the pressure. I don't think the players are feeling the pressure. I think the players are just listening to Katanec and saying, all right, we'll go with what you say. So do you think this is now mostly on Katanec, that he's not allowing these players to truly express themselves?
Yeah, I think he has got a very clear, highly detailed plan for how he wants them to attack, which is pretty much get the ball out wide to one of the fullbacks and have them cross. That is the game plan for Uzbekistan. And we talked about it in my video. Shomurdov has 1 goal, and he's the talisman of the team. He is the threat in the box for all these crosses. And he's got you 1 goal through 6 games. So clearly that strategy ain't really working. When you look at the other goals they scored, dude, Faisalayev had 2 headers in the same game. When is he ever going to do that again? That was divine intervention there. I'm talking luck again with these guys. It's like that will never happen again. Things like that continue to kind of flatter Uzbekistan. And I'm an Uzbek simp. I absolutely love this team. But when I watch them, I'm like, I could game plan to play against Uzbekistan as a non-football manager. That's a concern.
So just stop the crosses and you'll stop any sort of supply into the forward line with this team. Obviously, they were missing Urunov as well. Got to say, though, Faisalayev stepped up big time. When one of the players 100%. Didn't step up, Faisalayev was the one who was like the young star of the side, and he said, cool, I have to do it then. Somebody's got to do it. I'll do it. And it's great because the first 4 games, I thought he was a bit quiet. I feel like he was effective in the games, but wasn't really getting the goals and assists. But these 2 games, he showed up, and, I mean, he was critical. If he didn't show up, we might be talking about 2 L's here for Uzbekistan. But they're still in the driver's seat. They still got their destiny in their own hands, and it's now just down to, can they handle the pressure? In the past, they couldn't handle the pressure. Finally, Iran, they have 0 losses, 5 wins and 1 draw, but you could still say that this team, I love Iranians because even when they win, everybody's a fraud. Everybody out of this federation, everybody's pissed off.
Everybody's mad.
The only way you're going to please this side is if you win 5-0, 6-0. That's the only way you're going to please them. So I think for Iran, the attack is so lethal. They should have won that game against North Korea 6-0. If it wasn't for the red card, they would have absolutely smacked them up. But I was a little bit, look, they're both away from home, but I was a little bit more frustrated about the game against Kyrgyzstan. Like, Kyrgyzstan don't have a great attack. All you have to do is eliminate Kojo, and you'll get a clean sheet against them. So for Iran, I'm not really thinking about the qualifiers. I know with qualifiers, they're going to qualify, but it's all about the preparation for the World Cup in 2026. And right now, it's not looking good. Thankfully, what they got going for them is time and preparation. Yes, these players can talk about mentality. Well, one of you got to step up and say, hey, we cannot be this lackluster or this underperforming. But got to say that Osman, Taremi, and Mohebi, they're all stepping up in these qualifiers so far. So I think Iran are a good team. There's no doubt about it, but they're not playing it to
Yes.
that level either. Really, one dominant performance is UAE, and that's it so far.
Dominant for a full 90?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, they did really beat Qatar after
Oh, yeah,
Ali
good point.
scored. Yeah, I mean, this North Korea 2-3, I mean, I thought the overreaction was insane. Like, if Iran have 11 men, this will end 5-0. It was on pace for that. It was so easy for them to score against North Korea. So that, I think, is a moot point. I think against Kyrgyzstan, yeah, they completely turned off, and that's annoying. I understand, but one thing that is working extremely well for this team is the attack. Like, they are scoring goals. It's kind of funny because last 3 cycles, it's been like Iran 1-0 every game in qualifying. And guess what? Guess who wasn't happy with that? Iranian fans. Well, now you're winning 3-2, 3-1, 4-1. And you know what, Michael? Guess who's still not happy with that? The Iranian fans. Draw whatever conclusion you want to from that. I think there's no pleasing them unless they beat Japan in the Asian Cup. That's the one day I've seen Iranian Twitter happy. I'm not worried
when they
about
beat Wales.
Or when they beat Wales. Yes. I'm not worried. I'm really not. I think they'll figure it out. They just need to stay focused. They're still the second best team, hands down, in Asia.
2014 qualifiers, Iran conceded 2 goals in 8 games in the 4th round. 2018 qualifiers, they conceded 2 goals in 10 games in the 3rd round. 2022 qualifiers, they conceded 4 goals in 10 games in the 3rd round. And so far in these qualifiers, in the 3rd round, they have conceded 5 goals. So, I mean, clearly the issue is defensively, they are just so bad, but the attack is on point, absolutely on point.
Yes.
You cannot stop Osman Taremi at the moment.
Are we the Azmoun and Taremi of Asian football?
I was trying to think of
Let us know
another.
in the comments.
Actually, or then we are Al Naimat and Al Tamari. Now, comments can let
I
us
don't
know.
want to be.
The comments can let us know who's Al Tamari and who's Al Naimat of this duo. You let us know in the comments down below. Let's move on to Group B. I feel like Palestine have underperformed in these qualifiers because you can see that there's a team there. When they go up against South Korea, they play up to the level. Again, it's a similar story to a lot of teams in Asia, but the game against Oman, I feel like they missed the chances, and then I don't know what they're doing on the goal against Oman, right? They're pushing everybody forward. They make one little mistake with Saleh, and Oman are through on goal. I feel like if Palestine had better game management and just played with more, the intensity they had against South Korea was exactly how they should have had against Oman and Kuwait. And then we could be talking about 2 wins here for Palestine. I feel like they're a little bit misfortunate and also just maybe lacking the experience in this round so far. And one last thing, Olay Dabag, he might be one of the biggest underperformers as well in these qualifiers.
Doesn't get enough hate. I'm glad you brought that up.
So do you think they've been really underperforming thus far?
They are. If you look at the stats, for most categories, they're like anywhere from the 8th to the 10th best team in Asia. Like, they're smack dab middle, chances created, chances allowed, shots on target. Yes, but they have 0 wins. And they have 2 really good performances against South Korea. Like, that's kind of what they're hanging their hat on right now. They should be better. Do they deserve more than what North Korea deserves? I don't know.
That's a good discussion, but I would still say North Korea probably deserve more. I feel like they've just been misfortunate, North Korea, but Palestine just haven't played to that level. They haven't been like, oh, we got robbed here, screwed over here. No. You just haven't played to the capabilities that you guys have. But I'll say this. Al Batat, I thought was a beast against South Korea. That was his best performance so far in these qualifiers.
The guy's class.
He's class. He's been underperforming the first 5 games, but I thought against South Korea, beast mode. And then the 2 other teams, Oman and Kuwait. Gotta say, Kuwait have really surprised me. But Daram, the young striker they got, 24 years old, the goal he scored against South Korea, golazo. Now, do you want to say golazo for the game against Jordan? You could say that. Or maybe you could say more that it's a Jordan goalkeeper. But gotta say, Kuwait, they don't have the quality compared, I would say, to an Oman or Bahrain, but they definitely fight, man. Juan Antonio Pizzi is doing a very good job.
Yeah, and they're playing a lot more of a possession style football than I ever thought they would. Like, they're quite comfortable on the ball. Are they overperforming? Yes, because they played Jordan twice. And they have Jordan's number. They have the direct cell phone line to Al Naimat and Al Tamari, and evidently tell him to not show up every time that these two teams play each other. I wonder if by the end of it, who's going to be in last place. I do think Kuwait might ultimately finish last still, and Palestine narrowly above them. Even in that game, dude. I mean, if Palestine how they don't beat Kuwait is kind of crazy to me. But to Kuwait's credit, there's all these opportunities. There's all these games where it's like, I don't know how they didn't lose. Man, how did they not lose that game? Gosh, they really got out of there alive. At some point, it's not just luck anymore, and it's, okay, these guys have more quality than we thought.
And then Oman, I feel like this team is sort of irrelevant. Sorry to any Omanis watching, but
yeah,
I can't get excited by the football. The game against Iraq, I feel like they created nothing in the matchup. Against Palestine, I feel like Palestine were the better team, and then obviously they got that one counterattack, and that was enough for Oman. Even if they make it to the fourth round, I would not have any confidence in them qualifying to the World Cup. Then they scored 4 goals against Kuwait, which was their best performance, and you thought, oh my God, Oman can play football. Yeah. Well, evidently, they cannot do that still. I think they're sort of just that team where you're like, okay, they're here for the qualifiers. They're going to be a thorn maybe in some sides, but they're not going to qualify to the World Cup.
They're one of 4 teams out of 18 that have 4 losses on the schedule. Like, they are being carried hard by 2 wins at home against the bottom 2 teams here. Oman is not good. They're still a shadow of their former selves. And for me to put more respect on them, they got to beat Jordan at home. If they beat Jordan at home, then I'm like, okay. They have no teeth.
Yeah, they have no teeth. I was actually looking at the last 4 games. The last 4 games are South Korea away, Kuwait away, Jordan at home, Palestine away. How many wins are they getting there?
That could be the hardest remaining schedule in Group B. I mean, they could get 0 wins. They could get 2 draws.
Jordan and Iraq. You cannot separate these 2 teams. You cannot separate these 2 fan bases. They will consistently. I always see it in the comment section. Shout out to you guys. You're always bickering at each other where you're saying, look at Jordan, we're gonna laugh at them. Oh, look at Iraq, we're gonna laugh at them. I love it. It's like little brother and big brother, but they're both trying to act like the big brother. But they're just.
It's like the second brother and the third brother, and then the oldest brother is South Korea.
I don't know what it is with Jordan. Maybe you could just say it's inconsistency. Maybe you could say some players haven't stepped up, like Al Tamari. You could say that for Oluwan. Yeah, Oluwan had 1 good game out of 4 because he didn't obviously play against Kuwait. So I feel like Jordan would I say underperforming? No, but they should be playing maybe better. They're like Uzbekistan. They're like obviously Iraq, where they have much higher ceiling to their game.
100%. Like, you can't get 2 points from 2 against Kuwait. You just can't. I mean, if they win those games, they're on 13 points right now, and they're right below Korea.
I think getting the point away to Iraq was really good. You could use that momentum. All right, let's go to Kuwait, get the 3 points, and we keep up with them. And we're still going to host them at home. But they didn't take advantage of it. And that's going to be a big issue when you're still going to have to go away to South Korea, and you're going to still host Iraq at home. Like, you cannot leave it to the final match day if you're Jordan. Love you guys, but so far you're underperforming. Would you argue that Iraq now have the best defense in all of Asia?
Top 3 for sure. It's better than Uzbekistan's. I'm comfortable saying that. I feel that way now. Uzbekistan, they just look a little shaky recently. You got to put Japan up there, dude. You really have to. I mean, Japan, they look very good. Very good in this new formation. I'd probably put Iraq second.
So where would you rank the attack, though? If Ayman Hussein's not getting the goals, that attack is looking dreadful.
I mean, within the group, dude, they probably have an equivalent attack to Palestine. I'm not even kidding. If we're going personnel-wise, it's better than Kuwait and Oman.
Yes.
But both those teams have the same or more goals. It's worse than UAE. It's worse than Qatar. It's flirting with Kyrgyzstan level. I mean, it's like bottom 5 in Asia.
Is that now because of Jesus Casas or players not stepping up? Because when we saw at the Asian Cup, this team was forward-thinking, very solid still defensively, but they look dangerous every time. Now, I think it's safe ball. Safe ball, safe ball, safe ball. Look,
correct.
And I alluded to this earlier, that none of this will matter if they qualify to the World Cup. But if they don't make it directly from this round, there will be a lot of question marks on Jesus Casas. You go away from what was a great recipe. Why are you going to go away from the great recipe? Do you see Michelin star restaurants going away from what's successful? No. Jesus Casas, keep going with the same thing. But I think he's feeling the pressure because, there's going to be so much pressure on the Iraqi national team because of how well they performed at the Asian Cup, that Do you think this team will buckle under the pressure with their final 4 games? I don't want to say it's going to happen, but their final 4 games are Kuwait, home, Palestine away, or neutral venue, South Korea home, and Jordan away.
No, because I actually think Iraq, if they've been really good at one thing outside of defense, it has been just seeing the lead out. Like they win 1-0 every time. And they get put under pressure, and Kuwait make it a little scary. Oman made it a little scary twice, and they see it out every single time. So I think this is instruction mainly from Casas is the problem here. I mean, you look at how the fullbacks play now versus in the Asian Cup. Like Dolski barely attacks.
Barely.
Hussein Ali on the other side barely attacks. It is a 3-on-4, 2-on-4 every single attack for Iraq. They never ever have numbers. Bayesh has been okay. Mohanad Ali not reliable. Yeah, it's just. I think Al-Amiri has the most chances created for this team. He's a defensive midfielder. So that just tells you everything you need to know about Iraq right now.
But then you see Ali Jazim, just that small little moments of brilliance you see to build up for the first goal and the only goal against Oman just shows you the quality he has. Maybe Iraq are the new Iran of Asian World Cup qualifiers.
Well, they won't like hearing that, but I think you're onto something there.
They will not like hearing that. I can hear that obviously from history as we know, but you can't deny it, though. With the way they're playing and the way they're defensively looking solid and just kind of being boring, that's what we said about Iran in the past. 1-0, 2-0, their fans complain. Now we're seeing the Iraqi fans complaining about winning 1-0, keeping clean sheets. Wow, look at how this is all turned around. Now Iraq have become the new Iran, which it's not going to care because you know what Iran did? Qualified to World Cups. Iraqis would take that all day, every day.
And won games at World Cups, too.
Exactly. And then the last team, South Korea, I have not much to say other than they are still a very good team. I think they had one off day. Now I wonder how South Koreans will react after drawing again to Palestine. I don't think people should overreact. This is not like Iran where they fumbled 2-0 leads over and over again, still won the game. Look, Palestine, maybe they're just your bogey team. The one thing I will consistently say with this team, though, defensively, they look shaky. Like Kim Min-jae, you cannot give the ball up like that for Palestine's only goal. Terrible back pass. Did Lee Kang-in have his best window? No, I don't think he had his best window. Son stepped up. Look, South Korea are just going through the motions, but they still need to get better defensively. Do you think that's the one little aspect in their game that they're missing is defensively got to be more solid?
Yeah, I think the ball moves a little bit better when Son isn't in the team, and I think that's the part that they need to figure out going the other way. Because if they can score more goals against Palestine, even if Kim Min-jae has that terrible back pass, nobody cares because they probably would have ended up winning 3-1 again. Against Kuwait, they didn't really surrender that many opportunities. It was just a freaking golazo from Kuwait to, did they equalize? I think it was an equalizer, right?
No, it was 2-1. Make it 2-1.
Oh, it was 2-1? Okay. I think that's really just the problem. They're also still searching for, like, who the heck is our 9? Like, they kind of play a couple guys. Remember, it was Choge-sung. He was going to be the next up after the World Cup. Not really part of the team anymore. Seikano's been good. He's good in the air. Probably needs to be a little bit better in the interplay. I just think they're figuring things out, man. They got 4 wins and 2 draws. Like, they haven't even lost.
5 points ahead of Jordan.
And they're 5 points ahead of Jordan. They got a foot in the door at the World Cup. Let's not forget they did the double away against Iraq and Jordan, or not away, but against Iraq and Jordan.
South Koreans love to overreact as well. They're like Iranians. They just, if there's any sort of negativity, they all just feed onto it. Which, look, I can understand you want your national team to be better, fully get it, but just give it time. You're a new team. You obviously have the new manager, so just give it time, South Koreans. You will soon be.
You're not going to win every game.
Group C, or should we just call this group of chaoticness or group of calamity, group of
catastrophe,
group of I don't know what the hell is going on with this group. The only team I can have full confidence in is Japan because they got plus 20 goal difference is wild. I don't think I need to waste time. We kind of talked about Japan in your video. This team are just too good. I'll say this again. They will not be tested until they get to that World Cup or when they have friendlies heading into that World Cup. That's the only time where you can say, Japan, you're a top 10 team in the world. I think they have the potential to be it, but it's about proving it. They're not going to be tested in these qualifiers. It's simple as that. They're just too good.
They're way too good. I think one thing interesting I'll drop for your viewers about Japan is one of the concerns has always been the 9 position. I mean, literally blue lock, bro. Have you guys seen the anime? Blue lock is an anime because Japan have never had a striker to the point where an animation studio decided to make an entire freaking show about the concept and about making a striker who can win Japan the World Cup. That's Blue Lock. Kind of an overrated anime. I digress. If we look at total shots in round 3 so far, where do you think Japan are out of 18 teams? Total shots.
Has to be number 1.
No. Uzbekistan is number 1.
Third?
They're 8th. 8th out of 18 teams. These guys have had more shots than Japan. Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Jordan, North Korea, Iran, Qatar, Uzbekistan. The difference between every single team I just said outside of Japan is Japan score on 30% of their shots.
That's
no other team. 30% of their shots is mental. Like that's
mental.
That's a ridiculous conversion rate. Every team above them, the only one that has a conversion rate even close is South Korea at 15%. So literally half of Japan. So these guys have become, maybe Group C stands for clinical. They become clinical gods in this round of qualifying. Everybody's scoring. Everybody's taking advantage of the opportunities. They're unbelievably patient. They got to make the semis of the World Cup, man. Like I'm sick of this, dude. They're so
semis.
Good.
Okay, we got to relax there.
They got to make the semis.
Just got to get to the quarters, please. Please get to the quarters.
Well, they got to. I mean, with Moriyasu in charge, they'll probably lose in pens in the round of 16.
Yeah, because they'll go too defensive after taking a 1-0 lead. But even if
Correct.
Ueda gets injured, Ogawa steps up in this round. Unbelievable. You know what's crazy? He has 9 appearances and 9 goals for the national team.
Really? Damn,
yeah,
that's
Ogawa.
quite the clip. That's quite the return.
Japan are just supremely dominant. And they even showed you, we don't even have to be a dominant possession team playing the tiki-taka, very Japanese style of football. No. We'll hit you from set pieces. And they did that once again. 3 crosses, and it was all golazos for Japan, and they just destroyed Indonesia away. It was not even a contest, in my opinion. Anybody who thought Indonesia were going to get a result was smoking crack. Honestly, you're not going to get a result.
There was a couple scares early, but there was
a couple scares early, but
being terrible.
And then Suzuki turning into a machine nowadays. Gotta say, Suzuki, one of the biggest glow-ups this season, in my opinion. 100%. Compared to what we saw at the Asian Cup, I thought this guy was abysmal, but maybe this guy got a BBL, and now he's God. Maybe he's God mode. Yeah. Let's hopefully it continues for the World Cup. Which team do you have the most confidence getting second place in this group?
Australia.
Just because of past history?
Yes, because they always find a way to get it done. Whether it's the Intercontinental Playoff or like a must-win game in the last round of qualifying, they always do the bare minimum at the very end. And so I think once again, they will do that. And I just don't trust Indonesians. Saudi Arabia, hell no. Bahrain, are Bahrain going to catch them? I don't think so. China? I mean, the fact that China's probably like 4th in my confidence meter says everything you need to know about Group C. It's insane. 2 wins. The only team with more than 1 win besides Japan in this group. It's crazy.
That is actually, and they're bottom of the group. That I've never seen that, to be honest. In qualifiers, let's just go team by team. Just go by negatives. What's the biggest issue for China? Is it just the goal scoring's not there, or is it that maybe they just had a horrible start and now their campaign is going? What's the biggest negative for them?
We can do these rapid fire. China defending set pieces.
Bahrain.
Hands down. Zero ability to control the game.
Saudi Arabia.
The worst attack in Asia.
Indonesia.
Incredibly reliant on counterattacking football. Can't really do anything else otherwise.
Australia.
The second worst attacking side in Asia.
Through 6 games, Australia, Indonesia, and China have 6 goals. Bahrain has 5 goals. Saudi Arabia has 3 goals. Like, there's not a lot of goals in this group, if we're going to be honest. It's all basically most of these goals are coming from mistakes. All the goals in the Bahrain Australia game were mistakes.
Calamity of errors.
Calamity of errors. Bahrain, China, basically a lucky bounce. Zhang is at free in the box. You could say it's a lucky goal there as well for China. Japan is the only team where you see like, oh my God, good football. You see good football sometimes from Iraq. You see some good football from Jordan, Iran, Uzbekistan. This group is not providing the good football. It's more just like who's going to be the best of a bad bunch? I think Indonesia showed some positivity in their game against Saudi Arabia. It's just about, do you have the confidence in them replicating that performance for the next 4 games? Do you have that sort of confidence with Indonesia? More of like a flash in the pan, this performance against Saudi Arabia, and taking advantage of a poor Saudi Arabia.
I think Indonesia have the perfect team to play against Saudi Arabia. Like how I said, Kuwait and the nature of their defense is very good at kind of crippling Jordan. I think Saudi Arabia played completely into Indonesia's hand. You're going to play a high line against Ragnar and Marcelino, who just ran Saudi Arabia the entire game to great effects. Definitely could have scored more than 2 goals. And Saudi Arabia's attack, without Salem Al-Dasari, there is nothing centrally in this team whatsoever. And so Saudi Arabia, and this is quite embarrassing. I feel like the Australian FA and the Saudi FA should be ashamed. And honestly, if they have any scouts or something, they should probably be sacked, because Indonesia are incredibly good at defending crosses. Guys like Itsis in the box, they're very strong one-on-one out wide. Guys like Verdonk, probably in qualifying best 11 so far at the left back position. No exaggeration there. He's been a freak. When you're a team like Saudi Arabia or Australia and your entire game plan is levy in the ball, trebuchet in the ball, catapulted in from out wide over and over again, you're playing into Indonesia's hand. And that's exactly what Saudi Arabia did. I mean, it was very naive from Renard and a complete fumble on his part.
He should have just watched the Japan game. All Japan did was just tack down the middle. Just 1-2 combination plays. That's it. Very simple.
Yes, and be calm. Japan, They wait. Morita, he'll collect the ball, he'll put his foot on it, and he'll literally just look. Mm-hmm. He'll just look, and he'll just stand on the ball for a full 2-3 seconds. Then he'll pass it to Endo, and we'll give it right back. And it goes again and again, and they're just waiting for somebody to be weak on a rotation, and then boom, diagonal ball in.
I think Indonesia, I wonder how they're going to respond after this. Because their next 4 games, let's just say this, right? Let's say if they get a point against Australia. Good. That's fantastic. Their next 2 games are Bahrain and China at home. I think those are both winnable. They want to get revenge on Bahrain for what happened.
And China.
And China, to be fair, actually. But more Bahrain because of 96 minutes, because they're going to keep going on and on about it. Mm-hmm. I think if Indonesia get a point against Australia, I think they have a really good chance of finishing top 3, which is crazy to say. If they can just be defensively solid as they were. Now, maybe teams will figure out if you just play down the middle against this side. Let's see if Hay is very good defensively as a midfielder. I think he's a very good player on the ball. Defensively, off the ball, he's not fantastic. With the win, now you got the momentum. Obviously, now it's a 5-month break, so that's going to hurt Indonesia, in my honest opinion. But I think they can use that to their benefit. A team that need a break and need a whole year, probably 10 years for a break, is Saudi Arabia, because they look god-awful. Everybody, Federation, terrible. You can name it. Mancini was blamed. Oh, this guy's a fraud. Now he's just in Italy, maybe in Rimini or somewhere, having an espresso, having a wonderful pasta, and just laughing his ass off. Because he's like, trying to tell you people, you can tell me what to do. You can tell me to start this guy. You can tell me to start that guy. It ain't working out. They don't have the quality. 4 straight games without a goal. This team
should never
have hit rock bottom. Or could it get worse?
Yeah. Could it get worse? Yes, they could finish 5th or 6th. That's the only way. It gets worse. I mean, they got what? China home next game?
China home, Japan away, Bahrain away, Australia at home. Oh my God, that's the gauntlet of 4 games right there. Holy crap.
That's the one, though. You get a draw at China at home, go scoreless again, you've hit rock bottom.
I don't think it will recover from that. If they can get a 3-0 win at home against China, then their campaign is back. Because they're not getting anything away from Japan. I'll tell you that right now. They're not getting anything away there. And then with their final 2 games being Bahrain away, Australia at home, like that's not even guaranteed W's there.
They have one kind of guaranteed W, and that's China. And China have, under Ivankovic, have really kind of leveled up their counterattacking play. A lot of young guys now, they run at you hard. They foul the shit out of you. And Saudi Arabia struggle with physicality, which is crazy. They used to be one of their strong suits. Now they're all twigs. Need to hit the weight room.
Yep, they do. They were just a physical team against Argentina, and that got them the win. Now, look, the attack is the attack, and we've talked a lot about it, but I got to say, defensively, they were shambles. All over the field. They didn't know how to deal with Indonesia. just simple. It's not even just tiki taka, 1-2 triangles, ball over the top. Again and again and again. They didn't know how to deal with it. They didn't know. I don't know where the midfield was to track Marcelino's runs. It was an abysmal performance from Saudi Arabia. I feel like they were decent against Australia compared to what they have been. But the Indonesia game, it's like you had a little bit of a high and then you're back to rock bottom. Stage one again. You were at phase 5, like your Arteta at Arsenal, and now you're back to phase 1 where you're with the likes of Kolasinac and all these sort of players. I don't know where Saudi Arabia can get the momentum right now. It's not looking great. So can then one of Bahrain and China surprise them and get a top 2 finish?
Bahrain, no. I'm kind of selling on these guys. China? No, I don't think either of them can. I don't. I don't. I really love the Chinese comeback story. I genuinely do. I will be buying a national team kit. I can promise you. But I don't know, dude. It's between the 2, 3, and 4 spot. That's who it's going to be. No, now are you asking if Bahrain could finish 4th?
No, top 2.
Or could they?
I'm just saying top 2.
Yeah, top 2. No, top 2. No. But both of these teams have a legitimate. See, when everybody's ass, what that does is that opens up the opportunity for anybody to finish anywhere, and so that's what we're going to see. But second for Bahrain or China, no, Bahrain are frauds. I'm sorry, and I cannot stand watching these guys play. It's so annoying.
Yeah, they did not play good football in either game. Like even against China absolutely bullied them and gave them no chances. Australia game for Bahrain, they didn't create anything. They just got 2 lucky goals. Well, I'll say the first goal was an absolute screamer, of course, from halfway line, but Bahrain are lucky. I'll give some positivity to China. I think they can do it. I'm not gonna lie. I think they can do it. They got away.
I'll back you on that.
I think Japan. They got away with the 2 Japan games. They still got Saudi Arabia away, Indonesia away, Australia home, Bahrain home. Can't lie. I think they can beat Australia and Bahrain at home.
Dude, that Australia game. Australia, I'm pretty sure it was a 2-2. No, they didn't get to play in China last time because of the pandemic. I think they drew away at a neutral venue. Holy shit, China about to finish 3rd. This is going to be insane.
If they finish 3rd, that would be one of the greatest comeback stories ever. They drew 1-1, yes, and the game was in the UAE. Wule got a penalty in the 71st minute.
Okay. See, I'm here for that. I think Asia's more fun when China's good. It is.
Agreed.
Sorry.
Just for the kids.
Just for the kids and the historical tension. Come on, dude.
That too. I honestly, if somehow China, after the shit we say after the first 2 match days, and you drop that shorts when I was saying that they're one of the worst national teams ever, they qualify to the World Cup would be one of the greatest comeback stories. What do you think is going to be the points tally that gets the second place team to the World Cup? Is it going to be 13? Because it's going to be the lowest of any of the 3 groups. Is it going to be 13 points? Am I going to go say crazy 12 points?
13, because I don't see anybody here getting more than 2 more wins from the last 4. I'll go 13 because I think one of these assholes is going to get 2 wins and a draw.
Now we're calling them assholes.
I'm sorry, dude. You guys, they need to decide if they're good or not. And until then, they're going to be called whatever I feel like it at the moment. But I'm going to say 13 points.
13 points. It is going to be crazy when you see a team qualify to the World Cup with 3 wins out of 10 games, because everybody's clowning CONMEBOL with the 7 teams basically making it to the World Cup. But a 3-win team out of 10 games qualifying to the World Cup might be one of the biggest fraudulent behaviors I've ever seen. So, well, Asian World Cup qualifiers are going to be lit in March. No doubt, after March, we're going to get a lot of storylines. It's going to be beautiful to see. Oh, my gosh. And one thing that's guaranteed is Japan are qualifying to the World Cup. There's the review for the November window. Get your thoughts in the comments down below. If you're Emirati, if you're Qatari, if you're Indonesian, if you're Australian, if you're Saudi, let us all know your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember to subscribe to Deadball TV. The link will be in the description down below. Remember, everybody, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Remember to follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links. Description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Until next time, adios.